Barbara's scream echoed through the trees as she lunged forward, trying to push past me into my cabin. Her hands flailed wildly, desperate to get inside, but I held firm, blocking her entrance. The tension in the air was suffocating, and I could see the fury blazing behind her eyes. She was losing control. That's when I realized this wasn't just a tantrum or a petty power play. This was her last desperate attempt to seize what she believed was hers, my property, my privacy, my life. "Barbara, enough," I said, my voice steady but loud. "You're trespassing. Step back now, or I'll call the police." Her face twisted with rage and frustration, but she hesitated. Her hands finally dropped from the doorframe, and she stared at me with a mixture of fury and disbelief. The crowd of neighbors and investors that had gathered behind her hushed, watching the scene unfold. It was raw, unfiltered. This was her true face, exposed for everyone to see. She spat out, "You think you can just block me? This isn't over. I have plans, and I will make sure everyone knows what you're really doing here." I held my ground, knowing that her threats were just words, empty and desperate. But the fire in her eyes told me she wasn't done yet. She had been relentless, pushing every boundary, twisting every rule, and now she was trying to break into my sanctuary. Suddenly, her hand shot out again, this time clutching something small and shiny, something that glittered ominously in the sunlight. My heart pounded. I instinctively stepped back as a flicker of movement caught my eye. She was reaching into her purse. "Barbara, don't," I warned, voice sharp. "Whatever that is, put it down." But it was too late. She pulled out a small, silver object, something sharp. A knife. Her eyes flashed with madness, and she lunged forward, aiming for the doorframe. I reacted instantly, grabbing her wrist and twisting it away from the door. The knife clattered to the porch floor with a sharp metallic sound. "Stop!" I shouted, gripping her arm tightly. "This is insane! Drop the weapon!" Her face contorted, with rage, tears mixing with rain as she struggled. "You don't understand," she hissed through clenched teeth. "This isn't just about the HOA or your stupid cabin. It's about what's coming. Something you don't see, don't believe. And I'm the only one who can stop it." I froze, confused. Her words made no sense. "What are you talking about?" Her eyes widened for a moment, then softened into something almost pleading. "There's something beneath the water. Something ancient. Something evil. I've seen it. I've tried to warn everyone, but they think I'm crazy." "You think I'm crazy?" Before I could answer, she suddenly collapsed into tears, her body trembling. Her grip loosened and the tension in her face broke. The rain washed over her, mixing with her tears as she looked at me with helpless desperation. I hesitated, then slowly released her wrist. "What are you really trying to tell me?" She looked up, her voice trembling. "This system I built, this cabin, this place, they're just barriers. They've kept it hidden. But it's coming. The water's not just water anymore. It's alive and it's hungry. And if we don't stop it, if I don't stop it, it will devour everything. You, me, the whole lake." I tried to tell the HOA, but they wouldn't listen. I tried to warn Barbara, but she only wanted to use this place to impress her investors. Now I'm the only one who knows the truth. My mind spun with her words. A creature beneath the lake? Something ancient and dark? I looked out at the water, unsettled by her confession. The storm rumbled louder, as if echoing her warning. She reached into her coat again, pulling out a small device, something humming softly. "This is the key," she whispered. "It's the only way to stop it, but I can't do it alone. You have to believe me." I stared at her, torn between skepticism and curiosity. Whatever this was, whether madness or truth, it was real enough to threaten us all. "Why should I trust you?" I asked carefully. Her eyes searched mine, pleading. "Because if I'm right, then we're already too late. The water's waking up, and it's coming for us." The rain intensified, drowning her words. But in that moment I knew my peaceful lakeside life was about to shatter forever. Because I wasn't just defending my property anymore. I was fighting for survival, against something darker than I'd ever imagined. And the next move would determine whether we could stop it or be consumed by it. And as the storm raged on, I realized this was only the beginning. There was no turning back now. Her trembling hand reached into her coat once more, and I tensed, expecting her to pull out something even more dangerous. Instead, she revealed a small metallic device, humming softly with an eerie glow. Her eyes pleaded with mine, desperate and haunted. "This is the key," she whispered, voice trembling. "It's the only way to stop what's beneath the water, but I can't do it alone." Before I could process her words, a sudden deafening crack echoed through the air, like thunder, but deeper, darker. The water beneath the dock rippled violently, as if something massive had just shifted beneath the surface. The small device in her hand vibrated intensely, the glow intensifying. I backed up instinctively, heart pounding in my chest. "Stop. Her!" a voice shouted from behind, and I spun around to see a group of neighbors rushing forward, some from the crowd, others from the woods. They looked panicked, eyes wide with fear, pointing at her as if she were a threat. One of them, Frank, appeared at my side shouting, "What's going on? What is that?" Barbara's face twisted into a snarl as she saw her plan unravel. Her eyes darted around for a way out, but she was cornered now. The device in her hand emitted a high-pitched whine, and suddenly, she screamed, clutching her head as if in pain. The glow from the device pulsed brighter, and then, without warning, she dropped it, stumbling backward. The water beneath the dock roared again, this time with a deafening, guttural sound like a beast awakening. The surface shattered violently, revealing a massive, shadowy form beneath, something enormous with eyes that glowed an unnatural green. It surfaced slowly, tentacles or limbs or something else writhing beneath the surface, impossibly dark and ancient. The water churned violently, sending waves crashing over the shoreline, soaking everything in a relentless storm of rain and terror. Everyone froze, staring in horror. The creature was unlike anything they'd ever seen, too big to be just a fish, too dark to be anything natural. Its form shimmered, shifting like oil on water, and I could see the terror in their eyes. It was awake, it was alive, and it was coming for us. Barbara, clutching her head, screamed again, but this time her voice was drowned by the creature's monstrous roar. The ground trembled beneath our feet as the beast pushed upward, breaking free of the lake with a force that shook the earth. Its massive body towered over the shoreline, and I saw the scales glisten with a strange, iridescent sheen, reflecting the storm's lightning. It was like a nightmare come alive, something ancient, something deadly. I looked down at the device in her hand, her key, and suddenly realized how it fit into all this. The device was not just a key but a weapon, a piece of something much larger. It was meant to contain or even control this creature, to keep it from waking fully. But now, with her trembling and the creature surfacing, it was clear she had failed. Or, perhaps succeeded in awakening it. "Run!" someone shouted, and chaos erupted. People scrambled for the trees, for higher ground, while others froze in fear, staring at the beast. I grabbed Frank's arm, pulling him close. "We have to get away," I yelled. "It's not going to stop. Whatever that thing is, it's alive, hunting now." Suddenly, the creature turned its glowing eyes toward us, and a deep, echoing growl resonated across the water. Its massive limbs pawed at the shoreline, claws ripping into the earth as it advanced, impossibly fast despite its size. The storm raged around us, lightning illuminating its terrifying form, every flash revealing how ancient and powerful it truly was. Barbara was on her knees now, clutching her head again, muttering incoherently. Her face was streaked with rain, and tears defeated. The device in her hand flickered once more, then went dead, useless against the beast. Her last hope had been destroyed, and the creature was only growing bolder. I looked around wildly. We couldn't stay here. We had to evacuate. But where? The woods would be dangerous. Who knew what else lurked beneath the surface? The shoreline was crumbling under the creature's assault. There was no time to think. We had to act. "Get to the hill," I shouted. "Now!" We ran, slipping on the muddy ground, the beast's shadow looming behind us. Its monstrous roar echoed across the lake, a sound so primal it seemed to shake our very bones. As I turned back, I saw it fully emerge, an ancient horror, a nightmare, made flesh, its eyes burning with hunger and rage, and I knew in that moment this was just the beginning. This creature wasn't going back into the depths. It was awake, and it was hunting us. The storm's fury matched its rage, lightning splitting the sky as the beast advanced. No one could have prepared for this, no one could stop it. It was alive because someone had awakened it, and now everything was at stake. I pushed forward, heart racing, knowing that if I didn't find a way to stop this nightmare, it would consume everything, including me. And the worst part was I had no idea how to do that. All I knew was I had to try. Because if I didn't, the lake would be forever changed. And so would we. The beast's massive, shadowy form loomed over the shoreline, its eyes glowing with unnatural light as it roared again, shaking the very ground beneath our feet. Its tentacle-like limbs slammed into the earth, tearing through, roots and rocks pushing forward like a nightmare made flesh. I could feel its ancient presence, a darkness that had slept beneath the water for centuries, now awakened by something I could only guess at, something that had been deliberately stirred. I stared at the tiny device in my hand, the so-called key, feeling its faint hum fade into silence. It was useless now, just a cold metal remnant of a plan that had failed. The creature was here, fully alive, and it was hungry. It was hunting. And somewhere inside me, a flicker of understanding ignited. This wasn't just some monster from the depths. It was a guardian, a sentinel, awakened to protect something far more dangerous than we ever imagined. The storm raged around us, lightning flashing and thunder crashing like the very sky was splitting apart. I saw faces behind me, neighbors running, screaming, desperate to escape. But I couldn't move. My legs felt frozen, my mind racing to grasp what was happening. The creature's eyes locked onto me. No, not just onto me, but into my very soul, as if it knew what I was thinking, what I was hiding. And then, it spoke. Yes, spoke. A deep, resonant voice that echoed inside my head, vibrating through my bones. "You woke me," it said, slow but powerful. "You thought you could hide the darkness, but it always finds a way. Now it's too late." I staggered back, clutching my head as if trying to block out the sound, but it was impossible. The creature's words weren't just noise, they were truths. Ancient truths buried beneath the lake, buried in the secrets of this land, secrets that had been hidden for centuries. The water beneath us wasn't just water. It was a living archive of darkness, a prison for something so old, so powerful, that even the earth trembled beneath its weight. The realization hit me like a lightning strike. This creature was the guardian of that secret, the protector of the dark force that had been buried deep beneath the lake. And somehow I'd awakened it. The creature's massive tentacle swung toward the sky, and in that instant I saw the truth in its glowing eyes. It wasn't just angry or hungry. It was desperate, trying to warn us, trying to tell us that this was only the beginning. The darkness was free now, and it wouldn't be contained again. I looked down at the device in my hand, my key, and understood it wasn't just a weapon. It was a part of the puzzle, a piece of the ancient mechanism that kept the darkness imprisoned. It had been meant to awaken or seal, to control or destroy. I had thought I could stop this nightmare, but I was wrong. I had only awakened something far older and more powerful than I could understand. The creature's voice echoed again, this time softer, almost pleading. "You cannot undo what has been awakened. You can only choose what comes next." The storm intensified, lightning illuminating the creature's monstrous form, revealing a shimmering, almost crystalline texture on its skin, like it was alive with energy, ancient and dangerous. Its massive head tilted slightly, and I saw something I'd missed before. An inscription, faint but discernible, carved into its hide, glowing faintly with the same eerie light as the device I held. It was a warning, a curse, a prophecy. And as I stared into its glowing eyes, I finally understood what it was trying to tell me. This creature wasn't just a beast. It was a guardian of balance, a force that kept chaos at bay for centuries. And now, the balance had been shattered. The darkness was loose, and nothing could stop it. Not me, not anyone. The creature opened its maw, an abyss of shadow, and unleashed a sound that shook the world. It was a final, desperate plea for understanding, a warning that the true horror was yet to come. And then, with a blinding flash of lightning, the beast dissolved into a whirl of dark particles, vanishing into the storm, leaving behind only the howling wind and the rain-soaked earth. It was gone, but its message echoed in my mind forever. I stood there, trembling, clutching the useless device in my hand, watching the storm fade into a cold, silent night. The lake was calm again, but I knew the truth. This was only the beginning of something far, far worse, something that no one could ever fully understand, and something that would never truly end. Because the darkness they had buried beneath the lake had only been awakened to find a new home. Inside me. And I was left with the haunting realization that I was now its keeper, its witness, and perhaps its next victim. The storm had passed, but the nightmare was just beginning.